Welcome into Phil's Tax Hacks and Other Retirement Facts with CPA and personal financial specialist, Phil Putney. Now let's get rolling with today's show. All right, Phil, this week on our program here on Phil's Tax Hacks and Other Retirement Facts, the AI conversation. Prior to
everyone's mind.
Prior to the military action that we've been involved in here for the last little bit, the market was already pretty frothy. I mean, I was seeing stuff every day about, a tech bubble and an AI bubble and a little bit of pullback from AI. And the market's obviously been up and down a little bit, not big swings, at least at the time we're taping this anyway. By the time somebody's seeing this, who knows what could happen. But but top searches about AI and retirement in general, kind of, a lot of people are Googling this. A lot of people, especially in the 50s and 60s, are kind of like, what's the deal here?
What's going on? Yeah, I'm hearing these headlines. And
So we'll get into some conversations. So we'll post some of these searches and some of these pieces here, and then we'll talk about them. So I'll just tee you up, talk to give it to you in the audience, and then we'll just kind of debate it a little bit. So search number 1: will AI take my job before I'm ready to retire? Obviously, this is the big one. And I just saw Elon not long ago talking on a podcast. The time we're taping this, I want to say maybe it was 2 weeks ago. We're taping this here in early March. And he was saying, look, if you're a factory worker, if you're turning a wrench or a screw or physically, doing something like that, it's not coming for you anytime soon.
Right.
But if you're at a desk and you're typing and you're doing something really computer based, that's a different story. So he was actually kind of saying office jobs are more in danger than industrial or factory work. And I think that's an interesting take, because I think for years people thought the first thing to go was going to be robots taking over assembly lines and things of that nature. And so people have been moving to office-based jobs for 20 years now, right? From a education standpoint. And that may be the stuff that's more in danger from AI than anything else. So anyway, that's the top search. What do you think?
Yeah. And so, that's a great analogy, looking back, at the using of the robots in automation and assembly.
Right.
That's been happening for, 2 decades. What?
Yeah.
So did it replace the jobs? No. They're still there. There's still a human in the loop.
Right.
At the end of the day, and I think we're in the same scenario with AI. Morgan Stanley wrote a great article on it, and they're talking about, this isn't an extinction event like everyone's saying. Oh, it's going to, take over everything we do. If you look back again at history, when Excel came out, the spreadsheet, right? Oh, that was revolutionary. It's going to take away all the math we're all doing. No, it didn't. It was the tool.
Yeah.
Instead of getting a pencil out and the 10 key, running the tape all the time, it just made that process much quicker and more accurate, smoother.
Well, we do two things as humans, right? Anytime there's something really big and new, we overuse and overreact.
Yes.
Yep. Every single time.
In news, that's what they do, right? They're playing the headlines.
But I mean, as humans, we do it too, right? Everybody I know is like, have you used GPT and have you blah, blah, like and then after a bit, they're like, if I see one more AI thing, I'm going to puke, right? So we kind of like go to town and then we get sick of it,
Right. So that kind of down this stream though, will it take my job? No, but I've heard a great, kind of a caption on this whole concept. And it's that AI won't take your job, but somebody who understands and uses AI will, right? So, thinking back to the Excel spreadsheet.
That's a great point,
when that came out, if you were like, I'm not going to even, worry about this, forget that. I can type really fast in the 10 key and, do all this. It's not going to replace what I do. Well, you're gone. If that was because no one's using a 10 key anymore. No one has the, 16 bar green graph paper that they're writing all these column worksheets anymore. It just doesn't exist. That's what Excel does, And this kind of whole process cycles through everything. Think back of, what was it, Blockbuster, right? Oh, no one's going to be, getting videos in the mail and watching it online back then. Well, they're gone.
Okay, fair point.
You have to grasp it. Now, depending on where you're at in your career, I don't ignore it. Even if you're later in the career, I would encourage you to at least explore it, understand it. Don't be afraid of it. I use AI all the time from a search standpoint. I don't Google search anymore. I use AI because it can do things quicker, faster, and more accurate, and I don't get the ads yet.
Well, that's
that's what I'm waiting for next. Is they're going to figure out how to monetize this tool now? But
they have, as far as they're charging for the higher level of smartness, right? The our best and smartest AI costs $20 a month or whatever,
right? And I think maybe that's where it's going to head. Is that, hey, if you want to get it, just like Hulu, Netflix, all that, you want to get the no ad version. Well, it's a little bit more.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing.
It's just, it's out of control. It's, we're just, I don't know. The whole thing's crazy. But I think if you're 55 or 50 plus, I think the likelihood of AI taking your job is probably, I agree with you, it's probably less. However, someone doing your job better than you using tools, that's certainly a great point. And absolutely.
Well, absolutely.
And that's always been the case. Somebody could come in and be a better mechanic than you are and take your job. Or somebody could come in and be a better CPA than you are and take your job. Or a better, better radio host or whatever. So, the tool might in the tool in the radio host might be, maybe it's not necessarily AI, but it's the fact that they just speak better or whatever the case is. So there's always something. There is an interest and also a stark, visceral kind of, I hate this, kind of feeling out there. So I get it. So that was the first one. All right, second number, the number 2 search. Is my 401k safe with all these AI stocks in it? Now, this one's a little bit more different. A lot of people don't realize how much AI exposure they already have in their index funds. And after software stocks pulled back like 33% from late 2025 highs, it's not really an abstract question anymore. And again, to our point when I kicked this off, Phil, there was already a lot of frothy talk that AI pullback was happening, maybe a correction, 10% on its way. Then we got into this conflict. So we're seeing a lot.
It's kind of, overtaking the
even
pullback
more
concept,
volatility, but
Yeah. So, I mean, we're due for a correction. I mean, we've talked about this, years. At some point, we're going to have some kind of correction.
We have them all the time, though, right?
But that's just normal market cycles, right?
Yeah, right.
You can't, especially with AI. I mean, the frothiness of the market over the last couple of years, I mean, it's just boomed, right? Because of AI. And it's one of those things that I think we're going to be kind of, the proof has to be in the pudding at this point, because there's been so much CapEx investment by companies. They're spending all sorts of money with infrastructure, building out this whole AI technology. I mean, if you think of AI and its effect on markets, it's not just the AI companies. It's not just the chip manufacturers and the cloud storage. I mean, it's everyone. Everyone is investing in AI in some fashion in their industry.
Your real estate apps are like, use our AI service to use AI to better search for your homes. Like, it's also that buzzword where everybody's putting it in their everything,
and people are expecting it now.
Maybe it's no more than the basic search engine it was doing before, but they want to label it that way too.
Yeah. So, I mean, you have to be careful. At this stage of the game, don't be looking at, hey, maybe I should, start investing in chip manufacturers. Well, I don't want to say that ship has sailed, but it's like anything. By the time the market's ridden that way up and you're like, I'm going to get in, you're probably going to have a correction. It's the wrong time to invest.
Yeah. When we get a hot tip at, down here at the peon level. When we get a hot tip, it's like lukewarm at best,
That's right. That's right. You might get a little bit of a froth at the end, but watch out, because some of that's going to be coming back as a payback at some point, because that's just what markets do. They overheat, emotions run it up, and then the reality sets in and it pulls back. It's called a reversion to the mean. It happens all the time.
Yeah, we talk about that a lot. Well, so Morgan Stanley estimated, Phil, that the services and cyclical sectors most exposed to AI disruption fears represents about 13% of the S&P market cap, suggesting that market sell-off may be pricing in more pain than the fundamentals support. So is it like AI blowback? Is it panic selling due to headlines? I mean, we'll see, right? I mean, but
I mean, I think a lot of it is panic selling due to headlines. But again, we have ridden this AI wave, I think, too far. There's been a lot of hope and money invested in AI, which I mean, there's absolute value there, and it's going to help. But is it going to help to the extent that everyone is thinking it was going to? And that's kind of, that proof is in the pudding. We'll see over the next few years as that happens.
Yeah, it feels very .com. I mean, we've been saying this for a while. It feels very .com bubble-ish,
absolutely.
Right?
I mean, it's just how any of these cycles work when there's new technology. everyone jumps on board. It's the latest and greatest. How do we make this work, benefit us? There's some companies in there that, it's never going to happen. The Blockbusters of the world. And that's happening today. I mean, there's a lot of industries that, that's their whole industry is selling data. And if you're selling data, be very careful, because that's going to go away or to a large extent not be as valuable as it used to be, because that's what AI does, is it can help gather, sort through, and give you that information on data. I mean, there's all these different legal services and that provide all these summaries and all this information on different cases, and you can do these searches. Well, you can feed that to AI and it can come back and give you that data. So I mean, it's a pretty powerful tool from that standpoint. So I think you're going to see certain pockets of industry that are going to be far more affected than others. But to your point, I think it's a small piece of the overall market. It's not like, the whole market's going to crash 50% because of AI.
The Tax Smart Retiree is your comprehensive guide to mastering tax efficiency for a flourishing retirement. You will find indispensable advice and actionable strategies designed to enhance tax savings, maximize Social Security benefits, protect against market volatility, and develop a customized retirement plan. To get your free ebook, click the link in the show notes of today's episode and download your copy of the Tax Smart Retiree right now.
Well, to that point, here's some more statistics and some more information. So Yale's Budget Lab tracked U.S. labor data at from 2022 to 2025 and found the share of workers in different jobs hadn't shifted dramatically since ChatGPT launched, right? So it wasn't, again, for over a 3-year window, it wasn't like a wholesale migration.
Right.
To that also point, the World Economic Forum, which we all have different thoughts and feelings about that whole entity, but either way, they project 92 million jobs are going to be displaced by 2030 due to AI, but 170 million new ones could be created. So if you're doing that math, that's a positive number.
Right. Yeah, and that is the key. It's like with any new technology, you have to not be afraid of it, understand it, because a lot of times the fear is what I've been told, right? I'm a child of the 80s, right? So AI, the first thing I think of is Terminator, right? It's going to take over the world. So
we make all the jokes. It's like, especially with the robots. Yeah. Elon's going to put robots in her home. And then we're like, wait a minute. Like at some point, I'm getting some Terminator vibes here,
Yeah. So, I mean, there are some fears. Understand we've got to put some parameters and some guidelines on it. Hopefully that's getting built in. I don't think we're anywhere near that concern today.
Yeah.
But like with any tool, understand what it is, how it can benefit, and, how you can use it. And don't be afraid of it. So,
well, to that point, let's do our final search here conversation. Yep. So I'm going to just go right to this one because I think this one speaks to most of our probably a lot of our listening audience and viewing audience. Can AI actually help me plan for retirement better? So a recent Invesco survey found that 55% of retirement savers said that they trust an AI-powered tool more than a family member to manage their retirement investments. That's interesting. 55% said they would trust an AI tool, but they did say a family member, not necessarily a professional.
Right. Yeah. So I can, I guess, kind of understand that. And I think this is where it'll be interesting as we get into this AI technology more and it becomes more acceptable. Is personally, I still think you're going to want somebody, a human in the loop, right? So let's think of it this way, because AI has been used for years. So when you get on a plane, do you think the pilot is really flying that plane? No.
Constantly, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they are not flying that plane. Now, are they in the beginning doing some of the monitoring and actually the takeoff and the landing? Yeah, probably to some extent. Or if things happen, absolutely. So the point is this:
autopilot does the most of the travel.
Autopilot, which is AI, is doing probably 90% of what happens.
Yeah. There's
still a human in the loop overseeing it. Same thing is happening here. Would you ever get on a plane and you looked up and there is no pilot? No,
I mean, we're just starting to see that with cars, and some people like it, some people don't. We've seen some weird things happen. It's still very experimental, but 30,000 feet in the air versus on the road. I think people would take the car all day long, I think.
Right. So I think we might get there at some point as it becomes more ingrained into our lives, and we get more confidence in it because of experience.
Right.
But I still think, especially when it comes to finances, people want to talk to somebody real. They want that human. to help reason and but AI can help do some of that. I mean, it's a funny place we're in today. So
it is.
I think as the generations come up, the younger generations, again, not because it's them, it's just because that's what they know. They're comfortable with it.
And they're going to see more probably volatility in it than people over 50 are.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, because it's going to dramatically change the world for them. So.
Yes. Yeah. If we go to fully automated planes at some point, they got to come up with an acronym, or they got to call the software like Orville or Wilbur or something, right? They got to give the Wright brothers some love in there.
Some love in it, because they started the whole thing.
Yeah,
so.
Name the AI, that runs the whole thing, Wilbur or something. I don't know. Then again, it might get mad at being named Wilbur. Who knows? All right, so look, that's our conversation this week. Like, the search bar doesn't lie. People are nervous, Phil. People are cautious, and they're trying to figure out what it means. I agree with you. There are certain industries where, I feel like we're always going to want a human involved, and I think our finance is one of those. You can go get a lot of information. There's a lot of tools out there. You can use things to help you, auto trading, blah, blah, blah. But I think when it comes to retirement, most people still want to look somebody in the eye, shake somebody's hand, and say, am I going to be okay?
Right.
And then kind of working through that process. And that's the point of vetting out, people whenever you're thinking about hiring somebody, right? So do your diligence. Use AI to find somebody locally and do some background checks and stuff like that. But then go have conversations face-to-face, meet people, and talk about, your situation and your pain points. AI can maybe help you identify some of those pain points, but then take them to an advisor and say, hey, all right, how do we address this, right?
Right. Yep.
So,
yeah, it's a great tool. Again, don't be afraid of it. Understand it.
Yeah.
And just get comfortable with it, because it is part of our life, right? It is not going away. We've had the Alexas, the Siris in the world for quite a long time now, and that's kind of the beginning of our personal experience with AI.
Very true.
So.
Very true.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us this week. If you got questions, need some help, of course, and you want to talk to a human, reach out to Phil, philstaxhacks.com. We got links in the show descriptions below. We'll put links in there for all the stuff. If you need some help, reach out to him, give him a phone call, have a strategy session, get on the calendar, do a virtual chat, whatever you want to do using AI, do the virtual chat. But either way, at the end of the day, still talk to a human, put them in the loop, and Phil's here to help. And we'll see you next time on Phil's Tax Hacks and Other Retirement Facts. Hit the like, subscribe, and thumbs up button so you can catch more episodes here on YouTube or whatever app you use. We'll see you next time.
Phil?
Investment advisory services offered through AFS Wealth Management. The content of this program is provided for informational purposes only and is not a solicitation or recommendation of any investment strategy. Investments and/or investment strategies involve risk, including the possible loss of principal. There is no assurance that any investment strategy will achieve its objectives.